Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hellhades is away this weekend, so I am subbing in as I did before to give you the latest news that is coming out of Plarium. So we have the 5.5 update probably coming next week along with the new fusion, and we just had the highlights drop. So I'm just going to go through this, give my opinion on some of the changes, and also take a look at some of those champion changes that Hellhades covered yesterday and give you my opinion. Okay, so the 5.5 highlights, you can get these on the Plarium forums. What are we expecting to see? So we're going to have some Forge improvements. Okay, quality of life is always good to have in the game. So we're going to be able to craft 10 artifacts at the same time. Charms used will be applied to all. And it's good that if you haven't got enough charms, you will also be able to just craft them and it'll just use as many charms. Okay, that's cool. So a big thing that we do during CVC, clan versus clan, we often will burn all our Doom Tower fragments or whatnot, and it can take some time. Even if you're using RSL Helper, that's going to take 10 times less time. Great, awesome. Crafting animations will become skippable. Cool. The game will remember your chosen artifact ranks. This is very good. Advanced quests will send you to a specific artifact set you need to craft in order to complete that quest. Okay, well that's just a quick thing. Okay, so those are all like quality of life changes to help speed up the forging. If you've obviously done the forge pass, you've now got probably somewhere in the region of 160 instinct artifacts to forge. That's going to take some time. Now it's going to take 10 times less. I really like this change. On top of that, we will adjust the chances of obtaining legendary and epic materials in faction wars. Legendary materials will get a lower drop rate, but the drop rate of epic materials will rise by the same margin. We do this to preserve the overall reward balance in Faction Wars crypts, whilst also addressing the issue of many players lacking epic materials for crafting. Now, I'm not too sure about this change. I generally find there isn't really an unbalance between the two. Obviously, you need twice as many epic materials to create one artifact as you do legendary materials. I'm just going to take a look at my account now in game and see what I'm currently sitting at. Okay, so obviously sets like Swift Parry and Deflection, they require the core hammer, so we don't really need to worry about those. But if I look at Resilience here, we can see that it's around about, like I've got plenty of epic materials, I've got plenty, okay, Perception, perhaps I'm a bit more unbalanced, but I don't really feel like there is that much of a difference. And I've spoken with a few other people as well, and they seem to suggest that they're hoping that this change doesn't apply to Faction Wars 20 and 21 because many will farm 21 to get the better forge material craft rate. So yeah, quality of life changes, good. The forge materials, maybe let me know in the comments below whether or not you in your account require more epic or legendary, but I'm not too sure. Well, I have to wait and see what the actual change of odds are. Okay, so what else we got? Tag Team Tiers expansion. Now, this is something that is probably going to be very, very well received for many players. Tag teams got a different ranking system to Classic. Obviously, there's only a certain amount of players per rank that you can have in each tier. And obviously, you want to be in the gold tiers because that's where you get your legendary books, the higher chance of the 5 and 6 star refresh and cleansing accessories, which right now are huge for Hydra if you're running that content or rerunning any content where you've got really powerful abilities. So this is something that I think a lot of people have asked for. Can we increase the tiers? And that's exactly what they're doing. They are increasing it by the looks of it as almost double. Let me just check in game and see what it currently is set at. Okay, so in game right now, gold 5 is 1250, 1875, 2500, and 3125. So that is going to be. Okay, so it's not quite a linear kind of double, but it's on the lines of they're almost doubling everything along the lines across the board. So that's going to be great. If you're trying to get into Gold 1 for Romantu, if you want to hold Gold 1, Gold 2, Gold 3, this is going to make it much easier for you to do so. And it will probably push a lot of those Gold 2, Gold 3 players to maybe push for Gold 4. Great change. Awesome. I still think Tag Team could do with some love and attention in terms of like system changes to it. But it actually is probably the better PvP experience for many players at the moment because of the way that you have to strategically approach each battle using different champions in different positions to try and counter what the opponent's teams are trying to do. Turn limit counter. Update 5.5 will introduce turn limit counter and notifications. So for anyone who isn't aware, the game has a hidden 1500 turn limit. So that's kind of like all the turn limits that the enemy and you take before the game just decides it just crashes. It's a bit of a dev oversight, really. I mean, you would normally think that they would have put something in to support this, but I assume they probably never thought anyone would ever reach that turn limit counter until obviously someone created a Brogni Cadaver Infinity comp, which just never died, and then obviously we had all these crashes. So you'll see, so what are they adding? You'll see both the current turn and the maximum number of turns available in Doom Tower battles. For everything else, you'll get the max number of turns displayed once you begin approaching the limit. So I assume the turn count in Doom Tower is for the leaderboard, where you obviously want to try and get the lowest number of turns. And for everything else, it's just making sure that you're within the term limit. Upon reaching a particularly high number of turns, you'll get a notification informing you that you are running out of time. Finally, the game will pause and give you one last notification when you have a few turns left, unless it's the Demon Lord or Hydra clan boss. Not a major thing to add, but I think it's one of those things that is good for awareness and for everyone to be sort of knowledgeable about, especially in the places like campaign, where obviously there was a limit of how many turns you could take before you didn't get your 3 stars and a couple of other things. So it's a good kind of fix, but it's not something that I would say is high priority. Then, of course, we've got a number of champion balances and the new fusion champion. So Beveled of the Thorn, I'm quite excited about this champion. I think it has potential to be really good in Hydra. The fact it can place a leech and a provoke through weak hits. Okay, the provoke is not useful for the boss, but leech is. If you've got poison cloud out, that leech will still help you sort of heal a little bit, considering that War Master actually works through poison cloud still, so you're still going to get some of that healing back. Also get a strengthen, and that A3 could do some quite insane damage if it works the way I think it works, in the sense that one debuff is 5% increased damage. You could get some sort of crazy spider damage out and some crazy shields, probably greater than Miscreated Monster. He's one of those champions again that I think if you can do the Fragment Collector, you should do it, even if you're not 100% certain he's going to go into a team straight away, just because we've seen over the last couple of months a lot of provoke champions. We know there's another Hydra head coming. Will provoke be a thing? And if so, I think this guy is probably one of the better provoke champions in the game for that cause. I won't go into too much detail. I think Hellhades covered it out pretty well in his video. Then we got some changes. Necro Hunter. This A1, this Gravestorm change could be very interesting. Basically turns him into an AoE champion. Could hit really hard. I'll have to do the math assessment on him. I'll probably cover that in my patch notes video I do next week when we have the actual patch drop and I do a bit of mining and making sure we know everything that's going on. But this is very interesting to see whether or not this is going to work. Calia, so she's getting the damage increase across the board. That's good. She was kind of useless. The problem with Calia is I still think heal reduction is kind of a low value. Her A1 is a single target HP burn, which isn't enough chance at 30%. I know it probably books up a little bit, but it's still quite low. And then the Flame Tempest is random, so it could be good for Hydra, I guess. I'm still thinking it's just not worth any investment at this time for this champion. It's not enough changes, and you're never going to want to use it at all with her, so, you know. Frostbringer is one of those weird champions where she kind of was useless, but she did have a lot of stuff in her kit that was quite good. Her increased attack is very good to have. She still does decrease defense now, but the good thing is it's not tied to heal reduction. Heal reduction, again, as I said, is not a very high value debuff, and this decreased defense is still random, but it's guaranteed to land when you book it now, where before it was only guaranteed if you had heal reduction. So, good changes. Whether it actually makes her useful, I'm not sure. I'll need to do a bit more research, but potentially she could have some uses in Clan Boss now. Woad Painted is the one I'm most excited for, because I think this A2 change can turn her into potentially a very, very strong healer. There aren't that many very, very strong dedicated healers in this game. Even people like Demyth that require some sort of conditions to work. A Pardon was a very good addition because there wasn't that many good healers. With is probably the strongest one. Potentially Sify with her A1 and Cardial's A1 is very good, but they're all kind of small value, low healing. You know, what we want is some of those strong big heals. Think of champions like Thanasil who do very strong healing. So this champion here is HP based now, and all the damage is on HP base, so there's no issue of needing to split stats. The A1 and the A3 you can almost forget because block active skills is not that high a value on a single target, although it's nice to have in some PvP or some Doom Tower areas if you've got a specific champion you don't want to take a turn or use their abilities. But this A2 now is going to effectively become a 3-turn AoE heal if she is full HP for everything surplus. And probably with her scaling, you could probably get this to potentially maybe heal somewhere in the region of 40 to 50,000 for all your team. So it's a very strong heal. I'm going to be pulling this champion out of the vault and trying it, and then I will let you know after I've given a bit of a play test following the changes. But this champion is the change I'm most interested in, and I think she could potentially become a decent healer for specific content. So that's the end of the video, guys. There's probably a raid digest being written, and it might come out as I'm recording this video, which will probably give us some insight into what's coming next in the next couple of weeks. If you're pulling champions for Raf Matab, or you're pulling for the ×10 best of luck, that some of those champions are extremely good for clan boss, especially Demitha. And if there is any more news, I will keep you updated over the weekend. If not, I'll catch you in the next video on this channel.